Picture being turned away from a room in a hotel you control because your appearance didn't fit the mold. That's precisely what occurred to her. It had been an exhausting day, the sort that weighs on your frame and lingers in your spine. Avery Sinclair wasn't one to grumble, though. She'd inspected 2 sites that morning in Savannah, endured consecutive discussions with district heads, and then driven herself 2 hours north to Charleston to conclude the day with a surprise review of the latest hotel in her network. She skipped the stilettos and executive attire, no luxury purse, just dark sneakers, snug jeans, and a grey sweatshirt zipped part way. Her curls were tied back simply, and her face was bare of cosmetics. Her weary gaze surveyed the structure with silent intent. Avery valued experiencing her hotels as her visitors did. No VIP perks, no forewarnings, just the unfiltered reality. She stepped through the automatic doors of the Crown Haven Hotel on Calhoun Street. The entrance was sleek, glass accents, plush seating, and a display wall showcasing Charleston's vibrant past. All seemed orderly, hushed, polished. A young man, early 20s, with sandy hair and a collared shirt, stood at the reception desk. He hardly glanced up. Avery softly cleared her throat. "Hello," she said, giving a courteous nod. "I've got a booking, Sinclair." The clerk didn't return the gesture. He sized her up briefly, then turned to his monitor. "First name?" he asked. Voice monotone. "Avery." Tap, tap. His fingers danced on the keys. "Nothing's coming up under that," he stated. Avery dipped her head slightly, composure intact. "Check A night. It's under a company allocation. Should be a suite, top-tier floor." Tap click. His forehead creased. "I see an A night booking," he said. But it doesn't seem like it's yours." Avery tilted her head a fraction. "How so?" The clerk paused, unsure how bold to be. "It's set aside for someone in the executive tier," he muttered, as if she shouldn't be privy to that. Avery lingered, then offered a subtle grin. "That would be me." He blinked. "You're with the exec team?" "I am. I'm actually the—" He interrupted. "I'll need to get my supervisor." He pivoted away before she could complete her thought. Avery glanced around. A pair at the lobby lounge shifted to peek at her. Her skin tingled, not from shame, but recognition. This wasn't unfamiliar. A tall woman in her 40s stepped out from the back office, beige trousers, maroon top, clipboard in tow. She murmured to the clerk, who nodded toward Avery with his jaw. The supervisor approached, lips pursed, smile forced. "Ma'am, I hear you're attempting to access an executive suite." "I'm not attempting," Avery replied, tone still gentle. "I'm checking in. It's under A night, a block I approved myself." The supervisor folded her arms. "And who are you affiliated with?" Avery exhaled, her patience wearing but still present. "I'm with Sinclair Hospitality Group. I'm the CEO." The supervisor's brows twitched upward, hinting at skepticism. "Got any ID?" Avery dipped into her bag, retrieved her wallet and passed over her license and card. The supervisor eyed them, then Avery, as if the pieces didn't align. Then she voiced it, the line Avery had encountered in countless forms over the years. "You don't seem like a CEO." There it was. Avery arched a brow but held her silence. The supervisor returned her ID with a strained, dubious smile. "Let me verify some details. Could you wait by the window?" Avery stayed put. "I'll remain here." The clerk gawked now. A security guard from the corridor near the lifts began approaching. Avery sensed the tension rising, like the room's oxygen was thinning. Yet she didn't shout, she didn't waver. She observed and waited as the atmosphere shifted. The guard halted a few steps away, eyes darting between her and the desk. "Need anything, ma'am?" he asked. Tone deep but steady, Avery faced him gradually. "No, just waiting for the desk supervisor to validate my booking." The clerk piped up, overly loud. "She's aiming for the executive suite, claims she's the CEO." The guard eyed Avery again. His stance tightened, subtly more vigilant. He placed a hand on his belt, not his gear, but near enough to signal intent. Avery's voice stayed even. "Is there a cause for hotel security to quiz me over a room I booked?" The supervisor returned from the rear, clutching a phone and a paper. She neared Avery with a rehearsed, polite air. "All right, Miss Sinclair. I found your name tied to the Sinclair group, but these bookings usually go through a travel liaison. Without advance word or formal papers from your team, I can't release that suite." Avery blinked. "Are you implying I faked my own booking?" "No, not implying that," the supervisor hedged, retreating slightly. "But we have rules to follow. Showing up unannounced in jeans and a sweatshirt. It's a bit unusual." Avery fixed her with a firm stare. "Is it unusual because I didn't send a heads up, or because I don't match your image of a CEO?" The supervisor's mouth opened, but no words emerged. The clerk fidgeted. Even the guard eased back a touch. Avery sighed softly. "This is my hotel. My firm constructed it. My staff trained yours. That suite was secured to gauge your crew's courtesy and skill. Well done. You've just flunked." Silence settled, but rather than relent, the supervisor's gaze sharpened, as if anticipating a twist. "I'd still like to check with someone at headquarters," she said, "to be certain." Avery cocked her head. "You want to phone my office?" "Fine," Avery said, face impassive. "Go for it." The supervisor headed back. Avery paused, then added, "When my assistant answers, ask what occurs when a team disrespects a top exec during a surprise audit." The supervisor faltered mid-stride. "I'll wait here," Avery said quietly. The guard coughed. "Ma'am, could you step outside while we confirm? It's not a big deal." Avery turned fully to him now. "What's not a big deal? Me standing here, or me being in this hotel at all?" He shifted, uneasy, as if he hadn't planned his words. Avery hoisted her bag onto her shoulder. "You know what? I'll go out. I need the breeze." She strolled toward the glass doors. Her sneakers tapped lightly on the shiny floor, each sound cutting through the quiet behind her. On the pavement, she pulled out her phone. One call, no delay. "Lydia," she said when her assistant picked up, "get Nathan on the line and have him reach the Charleston Crown Haven Hotel now. Use the private channel." Pause. "Yes, they've picked the wrong fight." She hung up and peered through the glass. Inside, the desk crew huddled, murmuring. The supervisor dialed, back turned. Avery wasn't mad. She was grounded. This wasn't novel, nor would it be the end. But it'd be the end here. Because what they didn't grasp was the call they awaited was already in motion. Inside, the supervisor tapped her polished nails on the counter, impatient for a response. The clerk lingered nearby, masking his nerves. When the line clicked, she stood taller. "Hi, this is Marissa Hayes, assistant manager at the Charleston Crown Haven. I'm verifying a drop-in guest claiming to be an exec, Avery Sinclair." The voice paused, then cut in sharply. "Hold on, did you say Avery Sinclair?" "Yes, she says she's the CEO." A beat. Then the voice boomed. "You mean the Avery Sinclair? The one whose name funds your paycheck? Who runs the Sinclair group that owns Crown Haven?" Marissa stiffened. The voice pressed on. "Put me on speaker now." She scrambled, hitting the button. The clerk tensed as the sound filled the lobby. "This is Nathan Carter, VP of Operations. Who's this again?" Marissa, assistant manager," she croaked, throat tight. "Marissa," Nathan said, tone low but precise, "why is the CEO of this company standing outside her own hotel right now? Why was she denied a room and greeted by security?" Marissa glanced at the doors where Avery waited calmly. I wasn't sure it was her." "So you figured what? She didn't fit the profile?" The clerk edged away, fussing with pamphlets. Marissa stood solo now. Nathan went on. "Did she yell?" "No." "Did she intimidate anyone?" "No." "Did she do anything beyond state her name and request her reserved room?" Marissa gulped. "No." Quiet. "Good," Nathan said, because now you'll march out there and apologize. Not later, not after a break. Right now. Then offer her whatever she needs and pray she doesn't end your career in hospitality. Marissa neared the door, swung it open, and stepped out. Miss Sinclair, she said. Avery glanced up, unruffled. I deeply apologize. There was an obvious mix-up. Your suite's ready. I'd be glad to... Avery rose slowly. You verified me. Yes, absolutely. I spoke with headquarters. Not just headquarters. You spoke with Nathan. Marissa nodded, meek. Yes, Mom. Avery let out a faint, dry chuckle. Funny, isn't it? Minutes ago, I was just a woman in a sweatshirt who couldn't belong here. Avery brushed past her into the lobby. Another figure entered. Crisp grey suit, leather binder, earpiece in place. He was black, mid-40s, moving like a problem solver. Avery, he said, nearing with a slight grin. You okay? Avery nodded. They're figuring it out. Nathan filled. Me in? He said, eyeing the desk. Let's get you settled and set this crew straight. Avery didn't seek payback. She sought truth. By dawn, the tale had rippled, not just through the hotel, but across every Sinclair hospitality site from Jacksonville to D.C. An urgent leadership call hit at 7 a.m. required. Every GM joined, hearing the same line. Our CEO was judged and barred from her own suite. If it happens to her, it can happen to your guests. Lead with honor and respect, or pack up. Back in Charleston, Avery called for a team huddle in the hotel's modest meeting room. No corporate flair, no formality, just folks. Desk staff lined one side of the table. Cleaning, repair, and lounge crews took the other. Most weren't in the fray, but whispers had clued them into something big. Avery entered softly. No jacket, no posse, just a simple black shirt and pants. She stood at the table's head. Good morning, she said. A few replies came, timid, careful. She nodded. I'm Avery Sinclair. If we haven't met, we have now. She paused, letting it sink in. Yesterday, I arrived here to check operations. Not as your CEO, but as a visitor. I gave no heads up because I wanted the real deal, not the polished act for exec visits. Her tone was steady, deliberate yet potent. What I faced wasn't mere rudeness. It was bias based on my look, on what you assumed I couldn't be. She stared at Marissa, who sat stiff, lips tight. Let's be straight. This isn't about my hurt feelings. I've taken worse building this firm. It's about a mindset that lets guesses trump duty. Avery faced the group. Want to know how? I grew this company. I paid attention, I showed up. I valued people, no matter their appearance. That's all, that's the recipe. The room hushed. Then a hand rose. A cleaner, late 50s, silver braids in a bun. Her tag read, Loretta. Can I speak? She asked. Avery nodded. I've been here since day one, Loretta said. And I never saw you before, but I always thought whoever runs this place cares. You feel it in the little things? The towels, how we're taught to greet folks, how we scrub like it's our own space. That starts up top. Loretta dropped her gaze. I'm sorry they treated you that way. That's not all of us. Avery smiled, faintly. Thanks, Loretta, I know, that's why I'm here, to keep the good from drowning in bad patterns. She exhaled slowly. Changes are coming, not just here, but across all Sinclair sites. We're rethinking hiring. We're doubling anti-bias training. Above all, we're drilling this in. Judgment isn't your role. Marissa squirmed. Avery turned. To her. You've got options. Grow from this or leave, but you can't act like it didn't happen. Marissa's voice was faint. I want to stay. I want to improve. Avery didn't grin, but nodded. We'll see. Marcus, at the room's rear, glanced at his phone and stepped up. Media's buzzing. Staff posted on TikTok. It's viral. Avery sighed, accustomed to the spotlight, but weary of this kind. I'll handle it, she said. She scanned the room. Once more. Don't do right because you might get nabbed. Do it because it's the gig. She turned and left. True leadership doesn't shout. It imprints. Silent, enduring, undeniable. Avery skipped the press. No need. By afternoon, outlets grabbed the tale from a wobbly staff video. Avery, standing composed as a supervisor, questioned her, then exiting without a shout. The title blared, "Black CEO barred from her own hotel keeps poise, but lays it bare." By morning, Sinclair Hospitality's inbox overflowed. Some raged, some cringed, some cheered. But the point stood, eyes were on, and not just on guests, on the brass. Marissa quit that week. Tyler stayed on probation, facing full HR retraining. Security got a region-wide review, not punishment but reflection, a lens raised. Meanwhile, Avery lingered in Charleston 3 days, not quiet, but active. She toured every level, chatted with cleaners, ate breakfast in the lobby with regulars. No media, no lenses, just presence. That Friday, she stood solo by the hotel's entry plaque, one she'd greenlit months back when it was built. Her name in bronze below, Avery Sinclair, founder and CEO for every guest who deserves a welcome. A passerby paused, mid-50s, dark jacket. He eyed the plaque, then Avery, then double-checked. "That you?" he asked, pointing. Avery gave a worn smile. "Yep, that's me." He blinked. "Wow, that's damn. No offense, I wouldn't have pegged you." Avery nodded slowly. "Few do." He chuckled, stiff. "Hell of a spot, this." She nodded again. "That's the aim." He walked off. Avery lingered. Marcus joined her shortly. "Think they'll take this to heart?" She didn't reply at once. Then, "I don't care if they recall me. I care if they recall this." He nodded. "They will." She turned from the plaque, grabbed her case. "Flight time!" Crossing the lobby, a young black woman at the desk glanced up. Not Tyler, someone fresh, maybe new. She offered Avery a small smile and a subtle nod. Avery returned it, a look saying, "I see you, you fit here." This time, no doubts arose, because sometimes the strongest statement needs no volume. Sometimes the boldest act is holding steady till the truth shines clear. She didn't torch the place. She ignited it. So when someone says you don't seem like, let them end it. Then finish the tale. If you've ever been sized up before you could speak, before your name, deeds, or reality could surface, hold this. You don't owe proof of yourself for basic decency, but if they force it, ensure they never forget the cost of misjudging.